All right, Mopar people, welcome back to the channel. I'm just Mopar Joe. We're back working on our 1968 Nightmare Dodge Charger. And here's where I last left it. If you missed that video, that was welding in the majority of the big panels. I still got some stuff around, say here. I want to readjust those gaps a little bit. That nightmare of a job there. Anyway, if you're new, I was brought this car with a bunch of random panels, and my job was to fit it together, and it's gone pretty smoothly. I did make up some metal stuff back here. See, it's starting to flash rust on me. That's fine, I gotta clean it anyway. But all that was missing. The new panel here, this is the Golden. This is the Golden Star quarter panel. The other one's AMD. The rest of the metal is AMD minus this is a stock trunk lid, which most of the time people believe that is better. But she's a little rough too, needs some love. I'm gonna push on with the next step, and I promised you I would take you along for this. I'm filling this gap right here with a strip of metal, and the metal's intended purpose is to tie those two together instead of using lead. I'm not a lead guy. Go watch Dave do that at Rust Bucket Restos. But I do know how to weld metal okay, and fabrication's pretty easy. I got this fancy piece of cardboard assisted stuff here, and you usually find those in your little gasket kits. I don't like ever throwing them away. If you buy a Felpro kit or something, it just separates the gaskets for shipping. That's what I like. It's a thin piece of cardboard, so I'm gonna get this cut out real quick to meet up with my gap here. I might have to trim some more on that upper lip right there. That's fine. This is currently straight. I don't want to have to cut and cut and cut. So what I would rather do is keep my nice straight piece of metal, even if it takes a little more off the top. That's fine. It's going to transition better for me. And you'd think if you measured from here to here straight, it's probably 16, 18 inches. But I think I've got a piece of metal that's a few inches longer than that, because you have to be able to hit the full curve. None of this is really flat. So when I patch that, it'll be more correct in my mind. It should make the car stronger. I'm welded up here, I've welded through here. This is all attached and welded from the inside. And also, after all this is welded up, I can stick my tube of Eastwood frame protectant, which is basically like their encapsulator, but it's in a can and it has a tube, and just coat the inside of all that stuff. So all that'll be good. Skim coat of filler, this is done. We're cooking. So you'll notice the top of that is totally flat, dead flat. That's what I wanted for my piece of metal, instead of having to cut out and cut out and cut out. So if I lay that on there, where my gray primer line is, that stays just like that. So I got it pretty close, and I need it to drop into that line right there. I've got to clean all that out before I weld it anyway, but if it drops into there, I'll have a nice transition. And where I painted, right along there, I'm gonna take that off with a death wheel, basically right up to the line. If I need to get up a little bit closer, I can always do that right there. And this is 16 gauge metal. You can see I got a few little lumps in it right now. I'm gonna work on that, but it's nice and thick. So its thickness, one, it won't burn through when I'm welding. Two, since I'm lap welding the bottom and butt welding the top, when I'm lap welding, it won't burn through anywhere there. And it being a little bit thicker will help my transition once it drops into here. Also, remember, butt weld up here. Also, there we go. Just imagine that that is twisted and in there. I've got to give it a little bit of twist to go up this panel right here, because it just kind of does a swoop thing. So I could mimic the bottom half, and that'll get me kind of close. Or I could mimic the top half, and that would get me kind of close. But it's really just a in-between deal. So as I go through welding, in just a minute. Tack, 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 tack. I can give it another little twist or whatever I need to do. Get it set into place. Had my piece on, had it perfectly lined here, and literally took this dull straight edge razor and scored it. And then I try to trim right up to that line. A little bit of extra metal. But see, I have access through here. Do any rust prevention stuff after my welding's done. There's my piece again. Feel pretty good about that. There we are. Remember, our roof skin is a little bit pliable, so we're going to make it do what we want it to do. But also, I got to get this in the trough down here some more. This needs a twist again. But for the most part, we're getting in the ballpark. I got to take some more off there. I knew I'd have to through here. Maybe right there. That's a kind of a booger of a place to get into, is that little kibbly thing. There's a bug. The mosquitoes are out, in case you were wondering. That was a fly or gnat or something. Yeah, and I got a mark up here, probably on the back side. Here we are, all trimmed up. There's our piece. I had to cut my little, I had a little wing on there I was trying to connect to the bottom of that drip rail, but nah. Lap weld, butt weld. On the butt weld, I used to think this way, and it's wrong. So I don't think that way anymore. I would want to jam that as tight as I possibly could and get that line all the way. Look how tight that is. Wow. No, you want a little bit of gap. So when the weld hits, it'll weld actually penetrate both sides. That's pretty exciting stuff. I'm gonna just go through and tack our top. Every so often I'll give her a bend, but it's gonna transition so nice right here. I'm really super pleased with that. And up here, I just gave it a little trim, kind of where our, there it goes, where that corner is gonna meet up. And I'll get her sewn up as well. All right, I got a few tacks on my top side, and I'm going to probably knock that one back off. And right there, I think. I didn't like how they kind of transitioned. I still have a gap. I don't know if I have anything that'll fit in that gap. You can kind of see right there. Still got a gap most of the way. I wanted that to be a nice transition and not weld anything down here yet, just in case something needs weirdly trimmed or something like that. But you know, that roof skin has got a lot of flex in it. So as it heats up, back and forth, it does stretch. So if we're stretched out and we get warped up or whatever, it's gonna be a bad day. So I'm just taking my time. It's pretty cool right now. I might also get myself a wet towel and just stick on here, try to keep it nice and cool. Something else to be aware of, I was told while working on this sort of stuff, when you're grinding welds down, it'll also heat the metal up. So just taking time, you know, try to do it the best way you can, I guess. I got to put a little more bend here, but it's really not bad. I might can actually bend this up just a hair from the bottom side to get it kind of back a little straight. I don't know. I think I really like the fitment, but I'll be able to tell more after I get my transitions done. Well, it's the next day. And here's my panel piece where I quit last night because the bugs were starting to eat me alive. And I feel pretty good about it. I think it's bridging my gap well. It's in line. It's not crazy. It kind of ties everything together. I'll just keep on welding it up. Bring you back. I got to do the other side, so I may throw that in the video as well. And yeah, I got to get these welds ground off at some point. Another benefit of using the thicker piece of metal in the center when I'm doing my grind, right, oh no, I take extra metal off that. Well, it's still just as thick as the surrounders at that point. And to try to get it to transition a little flatter and smoother, I can do that. If I can find a paint stick, I can kind of show you right now kind of our flatness level. Here's a little bit of an ugly angle, but you'll be able to see it. See that little bit of daylight between there? That's like 1/16 of an inch of filler. About the same. About the same. It gets a little bit more at the bottom. That's fine. We're still hanging in there. Less there. Less there. But yeah, my weld's gonna fill in a lot of that low trough still. So that's good. I'm pretty pleased with this so far. This one went a little smoother because I stole the piece that I had from the other side and just trimmed it some more. And I kind of realize now, something I learned. I mean, I have actually done this before, contrary to popular belief. I had to add a little bit down here because if you see his trunk rail, it's all wonky and whatever. I've got to get it back in place. I got to clean behind here. I got to probably re-weld that little section there. We don't want to lose that piece. But the chrome's going to cover that. I don't want to add a bunch of random weld out here to where the chrome won't pop on nicely. But we're kind of deep here. And I realize I'm using a filler, like my metal is the filler metal. We don't have lead here anymore. So in the back, where it transitions there, I can have the piece just slightly lifted and I'm going to be welding it there. So that'll help bridge that gap. And then on the top side, I may have to trim that one more time. Remember, I kept that flat. Like if I pull this sheet of paper out, that was once flat there, but it's not flat anymore. I got to kind of re-flatten it on a sheet of paper like that. So I know my bottom line's happy. I can bring it up like that, leave the top line alone, transfer my bottom line, retrim it out, and refit that. And where my top line hits, it'll be a nice straight line just like the last time. Getting a little closer on passenger side. There's that ugly piece that came off, but I cut a nice straight line there because I knew my next panel would be straight. And I used that for my reference for the top curve. There it goes. So they are pretty close that way. And then my bottom curve, after I laid that in, and I'm trying to patch up some of his drip rail that doesn't exist there. It's worse than the other side was. After I got that top curve, and I was just kind of doing an inlay here to make it where it would sink, but not sink too much because I don't want to put a whole bunch of filler on. So I think I'm pretty close. If I can split my gap on my welds, I might have to take just a little bit more out of there on the top side of it. The thin metal is easier to grind, duh, but the thick metal is going to be more rigid for us. So unlike the other side, I'm really trying to get this one close before welding. The other one I was pretty close, but I think right now I'm getting much better. So it's almost ready. I'm feeling really good about it, minus my little crook right here. I've tried bending that a couple times and it kept ending up goofy. But I can split her right there and then clamp however the correct flow is. See, I gotta puppy that up a little more anyway. But this is what I was using for a straight edge because this is what I wipe filler with. I don't typically wipe filler with a paint stick, but the area will be larger than that. But just for fun, here's where I'm at. So it can rock that way, but the roof itself actually flows up that way. That's looking beautiful. A little low there, doesn't matter. It's like less than a 32nd of filler. Same. I just kind of went down the line and transitioned my gap. See, that has a rock to it, obviously, because it's not flat. It's not supposed to be flat. It's supposed to float. See here? See the rock? Natural transition. And then we're just a little low right there. I may can pry up on that, but I think we're really close. I've got to cut this nasty booger out and put a nice patch piece there like I did over there, so that it'll actually be a stiffer car again. But I'm making more progress. Here's what a little progress looks like in the old dirty body shop. I went ahead and put myself a single layer of fiberall light on over my new welded band piece. I also had to get under here. I don't know if you'll be able to see it or not. I gotta do a little more finishing to that, but I went ahead and welded that piece in. I got a hand sand to do all that stuff. But I wanted to get that covered before any kind of funky porosity or rust set in or something like that. Also, I'm going to go ahead and finish these areas out. Even if I don't do the rest of the car, at least I can put my name on these in 10 years if somebody says, those welds you did or whatever. Not that they would. If there was a fail with that area, that's on me. So that's the first wiped coat. I'll show you what the other side looks like. I just briefly sanded over. Here's our other side. We're a little bit low right here still. And the only way I could have fixed that was made my band of metal just slightly longer. But I didn't want them to be butted up, so it's fine. That was my first coat of that stuff. I may do one more sand over, and then I can do any filler work. But really and truthfully, you can see I'm coming up high here, breaking out high here. I just went ahead and stopped because I didn't want to take too much material off. Typically, when I do filler stuff, and I've learned in the past that you can keep sanding, and you're just going to have to add more to it later. So I've got a good baseline here. I can re-wipe essentially this whole shebang with a decent layer and then bring it back down. But yeah, I might end her there today. I didn't do much down into here. I did have to reconstruct this lip, and it's not yet perfect, but I don't think I have to do any more welding to it. There's a little pinhole there. I could fill that in with fiberall light, whatever. But I had to weld through here and then grind that back down because it was totally broken. Now we're totally solid. And of course, weld under there. See, I got me a little ugly rust hole here going on, but that's something totally separate. Anyway, that's how I do bands of metal on the sail panels. Hopefully somebody out there found that worth watching. If you didn't, let me know in the comments how it will fail, and I'll show you a car that has been like that now for over 10 years. Thank y'all for watching. All right, Mopar people.